All right. This is Unit 7, Lesson 3, where we're multiplying two-digit numbers. We're just looking at yet another way to multiply those two-digit numbers, kind of review some of what we did yesterday. You need your student activity book, page 267 through 269. We'll talk about rectangular rows and what this book calls the shortcut method, which I think is more similar to how you learn single-digit multiplication and double multiplication times single digit multiplication. It's probably how your parents learned how to multiply. All right, so go ahead and let's take a look at some quick mental math problems just to get warmed up. Start with 8 times 7, okay? And think about that, and then think about how you add those zeros on. So hopefully as I'm talking, you're kind of quickly doing some of this math in your head. Right, thinking about, well, what's 8 times 7? Eight times 7 is 56, right? 8 times 7, 56. Then go ahead and think about how you would add all those zeros on. So if we're talking 8 times 7 is 56, and then we'll add zeros on as we go, right? So 560, yeah. Add on 4 zeros this time. Ooh, that was an interesting 5 there. Okay, so for 5,600. And you guys should hopefully be able to think about all the rest of those. Okay, let's go on. We're going to talk about rectangular rows. So this is the rectangular rows method. It's very similar to the partial sums method or the area method, where you're looking at area. Only we're not breaking it all the way apart. So notice instead of breaking both numbers down into their expanded notation, we're only breaking one of them down. So we're doing 67 times 40 and then 67 times 3. And then we would add those two numbers up together. So you can kind of see the work that's been done there and how that works out. So in step 1, right, you would just break it apart into its rectangular rows, and then you would actually multiply through. Realize that that step 1 then is a little bit bigger of a step, and step 2, where you're multiplying the two-digit number by a single-digit number, maybe a little bit simpler. So think about how that's done. Again, it's really similar to the rectangle rows method that we did yesterday, only you don't break the number all the way apart, right? You only break one of the two-digit numbers apart. So you're only taking apart one of those two-digit numbers. So let's give that a shot. Okay, we're going to do number 3 together, and then I'll have you pause the video and try the next one on your own. Let's go ahead and leave 28 as its whole number, and we're going to break apart 34. So we're going to put 30 over here and 4 down here. Okay? So now what you're going to do is 28, and you're going to multiply that by 30. Okay? Well, anything times 0, right, is going to give us our zeros. So we're just going to put our little placeholder 0 down, and we're actually going to move on to 3 times 8. Okay? You could have written that whole row of zeros out if you wanted to, but there's really no need in doing that. So 3 times 8 is 24, so we're just going to bring our 4 down, carry that 8, oops, sorry, carry that 2, okay, 3 times 2 is 6, add the 2 in, and we get our 8. Okay, so 28 times 30 is 840. Then we're going to do 28 and multiply it by 4. Okay? Again, 8 times 4 would be 32, so you're going to write your 2 down, carry your 3. 4 times 2 would be 8. Add that 3 in. 8 plus 3 is 11, and write that down. And then you're going to add those two products up, so 840 plus 112. Okay, so you should get a 2 Get 4 plus 1 is 5, and 8 plus 1 is 9. So 28 times 34 is 952. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try the next one. Let's go ahead so that we're all consistent when we come back to look at it. Let's leave 59 as our whole number up at the top. And let's break apart 73 into 70 and 3. So go ahead and pause it, try and solve that out, and then come back and check your answers. All right, we're back. So when you multiply these numbers, we're going to start out, we're going to put that 59 here, and we're multiplying 59 by 70. Right, and just like last time, because there's a 0 in that ones place, anytime I multiply by zeros, I'm just going to get 0. So I'm going to add my placeholder in, and then I'm going to go on to 7 times 9. Use your nines trick if you need to. Okay, so 7 times 9, 63. So I'm going to bring my 3 down and carry my 6. 7 times 5, 35, plus 6 is 41. So I'm going to add my 41. So that means that 59 times 70 is 4,103. I'm going to write that out to the side here because I know I'm going to need to add that in later when I have my product of 59 times 3. Okay, well, 9 times 3, right, is 27. So I'm going to write down my 7. Carry my 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2, 17, 177. So I'm going to add in that 177. Right, 7 plus 0 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10, and 3 ones all in a row is 3, 4,307. Okay, so 59 times 73, 4,307. Okay, so the shortcut method I really think is more similar to what you guys are used to doing. Go ahead and look at each of the steps. It's probably how your parents would tell you to do multiplication if they're sitting there by you. They're going to go, yeah, that's probably how we multiply. I want you just to look at each of the steps, and one of your discussion questions will be to explain those. You could record a video telling me how to do the shortcut method. Pretend you're teaching your buddy to do that method. Okay? When we're in step 3, why is it that we put that 0 there? Well, let's take a look at step 3. Why do we put the 0 there? Because we're moving on and we're multiplying in the tens place value. When you multiply in the tens place value, you got to drop that 0 down. I think you guys pretty well understand that from what we've talked about and seen in class. How is this shortcut method similar to rectangular rows method, and how is it different? It's similar because you're multiplying by each unit at a time. So we're multiplying the ones, all the ones place value, times the 2-digit number first, and then we're multiplying in the tens place value times the 2-digit number. It's different because you do it opposite. On the other one, notice we started with both of our 2-digit numbers. We multiplied by the tens place value first, and then we multiplied by the ones place value. So some similarities and some differences. How do the 4 partial products in the 2 top methods relate to the 2 partial products in the bottom methods? Go ahead and pause the video and answer that. Just look those over, and then I want you to use any method you want to solve problems 10 through 13, and we'll go over them in class.